It's tempting, I know, to think we're alone in the maladies of our time. But the truth is, ever since Lehman Brothers went down 7 long years ago, we've all been in this boat together.
As a racing man, though, I'm comforted by the robust health in the bloodstock markets of the United Kingdom and Europe, America and Australia, while there are signs of green shoots in our own backyard. That said, getting aboard the international gravy train is as much a puzzle of personalities as it is a racing conundrum. What we do know, of course, is that by the time the products of this year's decisions greet the auctioneers in 2017, different voices will be calling heads and tails. The ruling party will have a new president, and the financial world will be a different place. Meanwhile, we South Africans can console ourselves with the performances of our horses. Last season, Variety Club ranked in the top 3 horses in the world.
The first international success, and Variety Club roars away to beat Able Friend.
And while Vercingetorix, Soft Falling Rain and Shay Shay were not far off the pace, for every good one we saw abroad, there was at least another of that caliber at home. Make no mistake, our boys have come out to play.
For us, racehorses are why we're here. They give the game its theatre, they give us its heroes, and they give us its divine madness. Take them away, and you're left with bare commerce. If you just want to bet, why not play pokey? If you fancy yourself an investor, best buy Woolies. Sure, Woolies shares will go on rising, but they'll never come down with a suspensory. Racehorses are not only good to look at, they allow us to dress up on Saturdays. We're not punters, you know. We're not investors or scientists. We're people of culture, connoisseurs of horseflesh, who bet as a matter of honor. We're now deep into escapism, of course, as well as divine madness. The more we look at horses, the less it seems we know. Eventually we reach a plateau of grace known as galloping ignorance. You should try it. It's bliss.
Racing often seems embedded in the past. All that history, bloodlines reaching back 3 centuries. But it's much more about the future. The clock ticks on as it always will, and if a farm wants to hang on to greatness, it has to do more than chime every hour. Stallions are the sultans of a place like Summerhill, and the quest for that elusive beast that changes not only your fortunes at the races, but also the balances at your bank, has led us this year to 2 jewels of the bloodstock buckle. Cape Town Noah was born into racing royalty. The son of an emperor father from the dynastic clan of Mr. Prospector, he carries 3 strains of Northern Dancer, whose blood pervades the stud books of every racing jurisdiction on the planet. Since birth, Cape Town Noah was blessed, burdened and branded by this legacy. From the day he set foot on a racecourse, he carried the expectations that come from sharing dinners with 2 parents who would change the thoroughbred world. He didn't disappoint. He hadn't yet dismounted following a triumphant debut when his champion jockey anointed him the best juvenile he'd sat on. When Anton Marcus speaks, most people listen. From then till the last time he went to the races, he bestrode the ranks of the nation's milers like a colossus. With Cape Town Noor in the parade, no man felt safe. The Cape Premier Guinea stands alone for the depth and the eminence of its contestants. He turned it into an imperious procession, destroying the cream of the country's three-year-olds.
With 150 metres left to go, it's Cape Town Noor that says, come and catch me if you can. But the further they go, the further he'll win by. Cape Town Noor wins it easy.
Suddenly, Cape Town Noor was the fresh face of an old game that sometimes loses its way in an age of television sports. The Lormeron's Queen's Plate is the Weight for Age Championship of South African racing. It dates to a time when our neighbourhood was commanded by a Zulu king who rejoiced in the name Ushaka. If there's a race to be won, this is the race, and everyone who's anyone lines up. There may have been many great winners of the Queen's Plate, but few of them did it with the panache of Cape Town Noor.
200 metres left to go. Cape Town Noor gets driven into the lead. Jackson is on the charge and he's coming with a late 20 up the outside. Cape Town Noor though has kicked away, and Cape Town Noor wins the Lormeron Queen's Plate.
Among his victims that day were the Group 1 aces Jackson, Yorker and King of Pain. It wasn't only a matter of what he beat though, it was the manner of the beating that mattered. A fine athletic colt in the image of Western Winter, his balance and style betrays the other side of his family. Born, bred and built for a classic campaign, his bearing is that of Sadler's Wells, Nureyev and Liefard. If the scenario is typical of the stories of this gigantic trio, perhaps his future might be as well. Time was when weekends were TV time for the marquee events of our sport. Yet ever since the de Kock caravan decamped for its pioneering pillage of the riches of Dubai, Thursday evenings have become ritual for South African fans. For all the big names that thrilled our sitting rooms over the years, none of them exceeded the worship of the original globetrotter, Lingari. Here was the redefinition of the international racehorse. A handsome, zestful, dual Group 1 hero who never ducked a fight. From 1200 to 2000 meters, he posted major race performances in 8 different countries on 4 different continents. Lingari was a racehorse, pure and simple.
Avec toujours Lingari qui a l'avantage le long de la corde, qui va faire remporter ce premio victorieux du Cap. La deuxième place pour le numéro 5, le Golden Titus, et la troisième place.
Lingari, pressing, Lingari, kann's doch, die 2000 Meter, Lingari gewinnt hier.
Whether in victory or the slender margins of defeat, with Lingari there were no exhibition matches. It was straight out, bayonets fixed, trench warfare. His Aga Khan roots had vaulted him to the front of the field, but the weight of it all could just as easily have tripped him up when he retired to stud. The journey to the great race courses of the world starts in the breeding shed, which means that if we get it right here, it's hello Hollywood. Here again, Lingari has paid his homage to his Aga Khan belongings. As 2014's runner-up sire of 3-year-olds to Le Havre, the glittering star of French breeding, Lingari already has 4 stakes winners and 8 stakes performers on his slate.
Avec de longueurs d'avance sur Calamari, Royal Magnifico, Stormy Flight, Vol Gaulois qui refait du terrain, Milieu Kagan également qui est à la corde, avec le numéro de Lingaro qui va s'imposer nettement.
Avec Mr. Topwa qui a fait la différence pour l'instant, Country Bob est en deuxième position, avec également très bien placé. Il s'agit de Goldie Esponi avec Dyfort qui est 4e, avec Mr. Topwa qui va triompher très facilement la 2e place.
It was the same de Kock that coined the phrase, "In any other year, he would have been a Derby winner." He was referring, of course, to Golden Sword, the handsome flag bearer for the Sadler's Wells tribe in South Africa who, with a furlong to run, was on the brink of the upset of the century in England's greatest horse race.
Golden Sword kicks for home, and now the Derby is up for grabs. Inside the final furlong, See the Stars from Fame and Glory. See the Stars will complete the Guinness and Derby double.
Winning isn't everything, as we know, but as the horse's mother had obviously taught him, it's the only thing.
You know, without See the Stars in it, he would have been the Derby winner.
He didn't just run the world's best racehorse to a near thing. For de Kock, he posted the fastest 10 furlongs in UAE history, faster even than 19 World Cup winners before him.
Takes her back. Golden Sword from the outside, one of the first.
That year in Dubai, he was one of the most talented individuals I had in the stable.
Golden Sword 3 deep in the best part of 12 lengths from.
Golden Sword is still the current track record holder at Maidan.
100 left to go. Bronze Cannon hit the lead, but El Shamali went up to Bronze Cannon.
The clue was classic stamina, thought to be a lost art in the modern era of our sport, but re-alchemized at secret laboratories in remote places like Tipperary.
Here comes Golden Sword on the outside. Eavesdropper back to the inside, but Golden Sword hits the front. Short of 200 metres left to go. Golden Sword clear, 100 metres left to run. They won't catch Golden Sword. Golden Sword first.
A year ago, there was regret among Golden Sword's owners that he wasn't standing closer to home. They'd seen his foals. And while the market doesn't always get it right, when this year's admirers included Magic Millions' Barry Bowditch, Grant Burns and Chuck Norris, Charles Laird, Michael Azzi, Jahan Malherbe, Ronnie Napier, Gavin van Zyl, Justin Vermaak, Alesh Naidu and Paul Lafferty, you've at least got a ticket in the sweep. What's more, if there was a racing Vatican, Mike de Kock would be a cinch for Pope. That the white smoke from de Kock's yard was also signalling Golden Sword's preeminence confirms the beatification of his flock. Picture this. The contestants for the Chris Flyer International are prancing in the dappled shade of the Cranji Parade. The rider of the favourite, hot off his victory in the world's richest sprint, taps his whip against his boot and nods politely as an owner who's never sat on a horse tells him how it's done. You think of an astronaut being briefed by a gent prone to dropsy.
Racing in the 2012 Chris Flyer. Only 3.5, 4 lengths covering the field as they're about to come.
In a matter of minutes, Europe's marquee speed merchant is under the pump. In the same instant, Singapore crowns a new king.
300 metres to go. Mr. Big is the leader, about a half length over Addo coming on strong. Then Secret Asset, followed by Captain Obvious. Krypton Factor down the outside, but Addo out of the middle goes up with Mr. Big. Secret Asset running on, but Addo finds the front for Barra Falls through Newbury Racing, and Addo's going to take out the Chris Flyer.
Boundless ability had already elevated Atto to the ranks of the best Asian milers. Reckless abandon now took him to the echelons of the world's top sprinters. Group 1 sprinter, Group 1 miler. He's the package we've all been looking for. We remind ourselves, this is racing, not quantum physics. In our game, Damon Runyon and Rudyard Kipling write the scripts. Atto has a multicultural history that mirrors racing's metaphors. In this moment, he may be the only Asian racehorse with a mix of money, moxie and galloping mojo to match Black Caviar. He is the son of an American legend and a standout German mother, who earned his Group 1 gongs under the tutelage of a South African in Singapore.
When they passed him, he only waits for them to get past and then he starts to come back at them.
What an ending. I mean, what was not ended. I mean, we're only just beginning.
You know, to win a race like this is really one of the big things.
He is also a tribute to the ecumenical nature of the turf. His part owner is an English gentleman. Another is a German coffee magnate with a 3-generation attachment to his homeland's most famous stud farm. This cosmopolitan triangle is completed by a good Jewish boy from Joburg with his stripes in finance. Until the Attos get to the races, expect the unexpected. Machiavelli told us, if we want to divine the future, we should consult the past. When Demi O'Byrne paid a world record sum to secure Brave Tin Soldier as a foal, he was saluting the point of perfection the thoroughbred had reached after 300 years of meticulous selection. Here was a dazzling conjunction of genetic material. A birthright bequeathed an army of rainmakers, nurtured by generations of hand-to-hand combat.
As they race up towards the finish, Brave Tin Soldier going on from Invincible Force. Basroy is third and fourth home is flat.
When Brave Tin Soldier flattened the elite of Ireland's 2-year-olds in the Blenheim, he was respecting his ancestry. When he shattered the record in the Cliffhanger, he claimed his place on the Summerhill roster.
To the stretch of the Cliffhanger, here comes Brave Tin Soldier. Brave Tin Soldier, final lunge on the outside. Brave Tin Soldier, Brave Tin Soldier in a Cliffhanger.
And when Rabada, Red Hot Poker and Easy Street cruised up on debut, they were only providing the overture.
Rabada comes out for a run, and Rabada comes into the lead at the 200-meter marker. That's the one to beat, and Rabada goes away from the opposition, and it's tickets and tax for Rabada, who's way on in front, and Rabada's won it by 3-4, east up at the line. Very impressive.
The unbeaten Rabada's demolition of the Gatecrasher field reminded us that the opera starts next season.
Beluga and Red Hot Poker, and Red Hot Poker comes into the lead and is going on, and it's Red Hot Poker now running away for the win. Red Hot Poker has got it once.
Sharp Princess, Princess Pearl, Easy Street is finishing nicely. Easy Street coming home, the strongest of all, and Easy Street will beat Sharp Princess.
Traffic guard might sound like someone you'd find at a dysfunctional intersection. But when the gates slammed open for the August Stakes, it was the moment the horse had spent his growing up waiting for.
And Traffic Guard now claiming the lead towards the final furlong and a half. As Traffic Guard heads inside the final furlong with a widening lead over the others. And Traffic Guard have run out an impressive winner of the August Stakes. Traffic Guard the winner.
The top-rated son in Africa of the best dual-hemisphere stallion of the current age, Traffic Guard symbolizes the highest athletic virtues. rock-solid mental resolve, and massive physical attributes. Like Golden Sword, no matter his feats in victory, his biggest moment came in a half-length defeat at the hands of the world's best 3-year-old.
Traffic Guard putting in an effort on the outside, but it's new approach from Traffic Guard as they race up towards the finish. It's new approach and Kevin Manning is going to win the Tattersalls Millions Champion Stakes by less than a length. Traffic Guard.
Whatever other accolades they may shower upon New Approach, when the curtain came down on the Irish Champion Stakes, he knew he'd been in a fight. Our jockey's face was a study in torment. We know the look. We see it on the faces of our fellow Shark supporters most Saturdays these days. The good news is the Traffic Guards are coming soon, at a theatre near you. Visionaire's idea of filling Kipling's unforgiving minute was always a bit more ambitious than a mere 60 seconds worth of distance run.
Wild charge into the stretch here in the King's Bishop, and Visionaire has run by the entire field. He was 10 lengths behind him entering the far turn, and on the wire, Visionaire with a dramatic laps the first win.
He showed it on his big day in the King's Bishop at Saratoga. He showed it with his first runners in the States.
And Bacopa Breeze cruises home.
It's Trident Hero, the winner.
And he's doing it again with his debutantes in South Africa.
But Bindaloo, with experience under the belt, is finding extra, and Bindaloo draws away from Arctic Blast over the dying stages.
And Jet is clear with 150 left to go. He's in front by 2. Jet here, too good here.
Lala over the last 100 metres in command by 2 lengths, and a heavy coup has been landed here. Lala draws away for the victory.
Royal Pleasure's well in command, and Royal Pleasure will come home lonely. And Patty Cake with a big lead. And it's Patty Cake by 4 or 5. They won't get to this one.
Royal Pleasure, you're looking at 4-legged ammunition here, wins it easily by 2.
But it's Royal Pleasure going on, running on is Miracle Rising, but it's going to go to Royal Pleasure.
With the pen in his hand, Visionaire is writing his own history at the head of a class that embraces the Group 1 victors, Karari, Warm White Knight, Nordic Flyer, and Just As Well. The established order has always been about the classics, as much as cricket was always about test matches. The fear for both institutions was always that the shorter versions might be the ruin of them. But here is racing in evolution. The Visionaires are doing for racing what Kerry Packer did for cricket, and the racing press are letting us know. What you see in the Visionaires is what you get, and the market loves them. In our game, class is an obsession. Buyers know that the only way to cure it is to get a bit of Visionaire. One aspect of our business that baffles me is the chasm between what investors will pay for the progeny of our high-flying commercial stallions and those of the new kids on the block, no matter their credentials. South Africa is blessed to have in its stallion midst the formidable likes of Dynasty, Captain L, Trippy, Silvano and VAR, all of whom had first crops at one time or another. Sales grounds are replete with those who tipped them when they first saw their progeny on show, but never raised their catalogues when the bidding opened. We should never confuse brains with a bull market. Wall Street's graveyards are full of investors who were right too late.
Not so long ago, the early offerings of top young stallion prospects enjoyed the attentions of the buying bench. In those days, the old judges I knew clasped their sales catalogues much as a fundamentalist preacher clasps the King James Bible. Like the preacher's book, their catalogues were well worn and held clues to the deeper meanings of life, such as well balanced, could be anything. Sometimes it's the people no one imagines much of that do the things no one can imagine. There's no game like racing to prove the worth of that statement.